Oceans2 podcast, episode Cuatro. That's 4 for those who aren't bilingual. This is...
That's all the Spanish you need to know.
Can you let me do my...
No.
Can you let me...
I have to interrupt.
Can you let me do my intro, please?
Okay, go ahead.
This is Jose. That's Jose.
And there's both Jose's.
Otherwise known as Jonesy, a.k.a. Jose Squared. And welcome to the show.
Well, a.k.a. Oceans2. So.
A.k.a. Oceans2. Again,
a.k.a. the greatest.
Coming to you on a Thursday. This time trying to get an actual schedule. Trying to keep consistent versus just whenever we can.
And we're here. So we're here recording, and it's a beautiful... Oh, God, today was nice.
Just fucking 70 degrees was the top. Beautiful weather. Thank God. I was just complaining about shit last week, and turn around, Mother Nature heard me.
And tomorrow's supposed to be shit. It's supposed to get all
just focus on
rainy.
Focus on today.
Nah, fuck that. I'm thinking about tomorrow.
That's sad.
Why? What do you mean sad?
Fuck the future, dude. No, I'm just kidding. So today, I think we're probably gonna go a couple of places in terms of subject matter today because, well, speaking frankly, nobody fucking sent us anything.
Yeah, fuck faces. I'm kidding.
A little salty. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean that's starting off with our podcast. We weren't exactly expecting thousands of people, let alone hundreds, but. You know, as far as numbers go, we're doing okay. I think we're getting more people than I thought we would. Which I mean, you know, not to say I don't think we're that good, but it's just like to start off, you know, who's really that good when they start off.
Well, still, yeah. But I mean, then again, we have a good amount of people that know us that would like listen to us, and
plus,
I appreciate the views and the listens, of course, across all the different ways of your podcasting consuming ways.
Shout out to you guys, including our one fan in Brazil and Australia.
Yeah, I don't know who you are, but whoever you are,
shout out to you.
I love you.
But yeah, I mean, you know, just for that, it's appreciate you guys listening in, and yeah, I mean, just get started. The stuff we wanted to touch on today is essentially just, I don't know, we wanted to see if we could go back and forth, because we usually see eye to eye. Me and Jonesy are essentially of like minds, so very rarely do we
disagree
oppose
on something
each other. So that makes it hard sometimes in terms of a dynamic to like have a conversation, I guess. But what's important is I think we have two different viewpoints. Actually, you are more just straight to the point, like cut the bullshit.
I mean, that's why more or less people are saying, why do you talk so much? I'm like, well, because I mean, I like to talk. It's just once I start rolling, it just doesn't stop for a bit. Yeah,
so I'm the same way where I don't like bullshit either, but for me, I could finesse it a little bit better.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, you can.
So, the subject matter, essentially, I mean, to start off, for example, we wanted to talk about Bill Cosby. And for those of you who don't know who Bill Cosby is, you have been living
under rock for the past 50 years.
You've not existed for the last 50 years if you don't know who Bill Cosby is. But essentially, for those of you that don't know, Bill Cosby, great entertainer, comedian, essentially revolutionary in
sorry if you hear the
television.
dog.
We kill dogs in a basement.
Shut up.
Just kidding.
God damn it. No, that's my dog upstairs.
But yeah, Bill Cosby, legendary entertainer, essentially. Finally gets a conviction for...
Oh, my God.
It's okay. Just snap its neck. Just snap its neck.
No, can't do it. I was scared that you cracked your hands.
But yeah, he finally got convicted. Well, not convicted. He was found guilty.
Found guilty, yes.
He was found guilty for the assault. Was it sexual?
The assault of a woman 14 years ago.
Yeah, 14 years ago, which is insane because Cosby's like a million years old. And if it was
like
just
90
14, and according to the accusations, he's been doing it since
the beginning of the Cosby Show, pretty
much.
The
80s or like
70s, yeah.
Which is insane. And he's only like getting blown up for it for what he did 14 years ago. That's insane. And the reason this was one of the topics we want to talk about is because essentially we're, like I said before, we're of like minds, so, you know, we're pretty solid on this itself. But I wanted to bring up a talking point about Cosby himself. Again, for those of you that don't know, Bill Cosby is known for being an entertainer. Most well known for his TV shows and stuff like that. But most people don't actually know that he was like a huge comedian. Like,
yeah,
like a huge
on the road
comedian.
And all that stuff, you know.
like there were people like Richard Pryor. There were people like shit. What was his name? Fuck, I forgot his name. But essentially,
Richard Pryor. He was with
a lot of people of that time. Will probably say like Richard Pryor was one of the big ones, but Cosby was actually one of the sleepers. Like he was big, but you had to like see him to know just how good he was.
Because I honestly think the first Cosby like special, I sort of guess you could say was a stand up or like a little bit that he did for like PBS. That was the first time I've seen that.
He's done it all.
I know he is, but like that's what I'm saying. That's how like under the radar he went. I've seen all these other guys that were stand-up comedians, but I just barely saw Cosby like maybe 10 years ago, if anything like that.
So let me ask you then, because you're probably more of a black and white guy than I am in terms of like judgment, like what's wrong and what's wrong. Race. Well, we're not, but
You said
segue.
Black and white.
Seeing things in black and white in terms of what's right and what's wrong.
On God.
On God.
Fist
what do you? How many accusations did he have? It was like 60, I think. It got to that point. I stopped paying attention after that because Jesus, that's.
It's like people coming out of the woodworks and like he touched me. I get it.
And accusations are accusations. But not to discredit anybody who comes out and that something like that has actually happened to them. But accusations are accusations. But like I said before, how insane it is that they can only pin something that just happened 14 years ago versus stuff that happened literally 3 times back in time, and that's just insane.
Don came inside the.
So I wanted to ask you. So 60 accusations, right? 60 plus, whatever the number was. And you know what? I have to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Bill Cosby, again, for those of you who don't know, he wasn't well known for his entertainer, but just as well known for helping out in entertainment for essentially African Americans.
Yeah, I mean he brought the stage to what was it? I forgot what he did. How many millions of views that he got through TV? Like I think his was the first syndicated.
Dude, he was one of the most watched shows in America at one point.
Everyone knew.
Beating out
wrestling, beating out the news, beating out Super Bowl. I think he beat out the Super Bowl too, didn't he?
I don't even know about that, to be honest, his statistics. But essentially, him having his show, using his show actually, did you know? I read about this, but he actually had a psychologist
for him.
Help him write the show so that so that they'd have no negative portrayal of an African American.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, get the shotgun. Sorry, guys. He had a psychologist work with him on the show so there'd be no negative portrayal of African Americans on his show.
Yeah.
Which is crazy if you think about just the extents to go for in television.
Yeah. Good, I'm just thinking.
Does all that, donate? Yeah. Sorry, little weird cut. Yeah, had to go
back to
some stuff. No, it's just crazy that he did all this philanthropy. He did all this, just trying to promote a positive image for African Americans.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job.
He did it. And then to come out of the woodwork and then all this shit happens.
It hits hard because it's weird because you know what I think it looks like in my opinion? It's the O.J. Trial Simpson of our age.
O.J. Trial Simpson?
O.J. Yeah. What did I say? Something weird?
O.J. Trial Simpson.
O.J. Simpson trial of our age. Sorry, there you go. Because, I mean, you have different sides of the thing. It's like different sides of the spectrum. You have people that are like, no, you can... That was so many years ago and stuff like... there's so many years ago, you can't look back on that. It's like, look at what he's done, look at all this. But then there's people that just go straight to the conviction. Like, no, he did this, fuck him. And his credibility, whatever he did, he attacked women, he raped women, or the accusations of that, he did this to them. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, There's no really people going on the middle ground. If there is anyone in the middle ground, they're more or less like...
No, there's people there on the middle ground.
I honestly...
Actually, famously, Dave Chappelle in one of his specials on Netflix, that was actually a...
Oh yeah, he did. He did talk about that. It's weird.
Where on one side, he's aware of, like, the hideous things the heinous things that he did. But the other side of him is just conflicted because he did all this good. But I guess again, just bringing up my question again to you was, just because one does so much good, does that mean they get a pass?
Did they get a pass? What I had, I can see it all there. I can see both sides, but I would go towards no.
No pass.
No, only because, well, even if it was 14 years ago, say, like I said, like people are like, oh, the statute's of limitation. He still did something that he got away with.
Right.
He, like, for instance, including with that, the Golden Gate Killer was recently captured. The serial killer.
Zero clue about this story. But
really?
Fill me in.
Okay. Well, it's a guy pretty much. He raped 12 women, or like plus 12 women. 12 women he killed. 12 women he raped. He killed families as well. But I think if I'm right, I'll read it again. But I believe he was a cop. He was a cop that they couldn't find, or he was set undercover. And I think it was ironic because on National DNA Day, they found an evidence of DNA somewhere, and they were able to trace it to him.
National DNA Day. Hold on, let's explain that. What?
I don't. That's what happened. That's what they said on my National DNA Day.
Okay.
And that's what the spokesperson of the police department even said. Like, on of all days, National DNA Day pointed us to
here
the Golden Gate Killer. And I think he was on the run for 50 years. But how I see it is that, like, he was a cop. He did all this good stuff. But the son of a bitch is still a killer and a rapist.
Word.
That doesn't look that you can't put that past. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Bill Cosby. I love his shows and whatnot. But I look at that's his entertainment. But this is his human. This is his human. What he does on the side.
As a human.
I'm not denying that he brought awesome stuff to the world, and he brought an awesome light onto the African American community, and he did fund a lot to the Obama administration too. Mm-hmm. He gave a lot of donations and everything for their campaign. Mm-hmm. But that still doesn't put the past that the man raped and assaulted women.
Okay, allegedly.
Allegedly assaulted women and stuff until he's given and convicted. I mean, he's convicted guilty. He's been.
Some shit.
I forgot the whole thing. He's been found guilty, but they haven't given him any sentencing.
A conviction.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. It's like, I could be a saint, I could be charity, I could do all this, and if I do, I mean, I'm never going to do that, but it's just like, if I did do that, in my mind, it would always be, I am a rapist, or I am a killer, I am a dog puncher, or whatever the fuck people do. I don't know. People go around punching dogs.
First off, we will find you dog punchers and kill you in your sleep. Don't you fucking dare.
Yeah, but
Declaration of war.
That's how I see it. It's just like, you can do all this good, but just as easily it can be taken away and unraveled.
See, okay, so this is where I have to play devil's advocate again. So you have.
Do I punch Bill Cosby in the face? Yes.
No, you idiot.
No, I wouldn't do that.
What I'm saying is.
Oh, maybe.
So okay, so that's okay. So that answered my question that I had about you. But devil's advocate, I want to say, I'm kind of on the side with Dave Chappelle in terms of being feeling conflicted.
Yeah.
To me, it's not about it. It's not like Dave Chappelle that was conflicted on. I don't know how I feel about it. It's more of I'm conflicted that. So who was the real Bill Cosby? Was it that guy who did all this good stuff for his community, or was it the guy who allegedly did all these things that he was accused of?
Yeah.
And I mean, some probably can make the argument of he was both. Mm-hmm. He was an entertainer. He can probably play two roles at the same time. It's not out there, but I don't know. There's just even I have to admit, and like I said, we're of like mind. I have to admit so much that he did.
Excuse me.
Gross. So much that he did.
It wasn't satisfying.
So much that he did. I think he should face whatever it is that he has to face for the stuff that he's done allegedly. Mm-hmm. Count how many times you say allegedly in this podcast.
I don't know.
You will win a free T-shirt.
Yeah, if you count that, we'll send you
merch. it's one of those things that it's like it's I mean it's obviously for me and you it's black and white. It's fuck that. It doesn't you do all this good just because you do all this good. It doesn't exempt you from doing something wrong. Because then we'd have to make an exception for everybody who does good.
Do you know how many drug dealers would be volunteering at places then?
Word. But it is the kind of stuff that makes you think. It's like, what does it matter how much good someone does if one thing comes to light and then all of a sudden they're not as good as you thought? Then all of a sudden all the stuff that you think was for the greater good becomes maybe it was just a front for something.
Yeah. Isn't it weird though that that's only one woman?
Yeah, it's nuts.
So it's like that's one woman. I get it, but okay, that's one. That's one woman. But think about it this way: out of those 60 women that allegedly say this or are saying that he did this to them, how many of them are not going to be satisfied with just that other woman's side, and they're going to want to take him down even farther?
Yeah.
And it's sort of sad that like not one person taking him down, or allegedly taking him down. Find another word for a synonym for allegedly. 'Cause shit. Supposedly took him down. That they're like, no, that's not good enough. He needs to be punished more and more and more. It's like, is it gonna stop after this? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I think maybe there's going to be 5 more trials trying to still convict him even farther.
They could try him to death, essentially, if they needed to.
Well, I mean,
if they wanted to,
were they dealing with this?
I have no idea.
Does Philadelphia have a death penalty?
No.
No,
it's not one of the states.
Illinois does it, no.
No. Well, on lighter news,
I like these headphones.
Yeah, we get through the studio.
Yeah, we actually finally are doing this correctly.
We're almost there. We're almost at 100% as far as studio readiness.
Fund our Patreon on YouTube and
our
links there.
On later news,
we're hungry.
We were, sometimes we essentially when we went into the show, we wanted to go sort of unscripted and just like we said initially, it's just us, 2 guys talking shit to each other, and if you want to join in the conversation. We sort of just to get some kind of a guide through the show while we talk shit. We wrote some points down, some talking points, and we had a couple things written down, and we came up with the topic with the beautiful, well-written show of The Office.
Yes.
Me and Jonesy are huge fans of TV in general, TV shows, but The Office has a special place in our heart. So we brought it. We were sort of just talking about it, and on that subject too, like I really wanted to say, where are they now in terms of like the whole cast? Because I know, for those of you that don't know, in The Office, they have a couple of characters. Best well-known characters are Steve Carell. There's the character of Dwight Schrute. There's the character of Jim and Pam. They have a whole cast. It's pretty awesome, and I think recently the one that's blowing up right now is John Krasinski, who plays the role of Jim. We're talking about the American Office version, by the way.
Of the
show.
One half of the lovely duo of Jim and Pam.
Which, couple goals. But, he recently released a movie called The Quiet Place. Did you watch it?
No.
Okay, well.
Stop cracking your fingers.
Fuck, are you down?
Huh? No, you're going to the gym to get swole after this.
Don't put my plans out there. But yeah,
he's going to be at the gym. He's going to be...
Please shut up while I talk about my point that I forgot. Okay, so all I want to say is, so John Krasinski plays Jim, one of the more well-liked characters too. He is now a director, and he just directed a movie that was released called The Quiet Place. I recommend go seeing it because it is the shit in terms of its premise.
I'll pirate it. I mean, what?
It's don't do that. We support The Office. We support Jim. We support John Krasinski. You better fucking watch it and pay money for it, you dick.
I know. I tell you, like, if I like something or if I support the actor behind it or whoever's making it, I'll pay for it.
Right.
I'll pay for a physical copy of something.
So that's John Krasinski, right? And John Krasinski, for a while, I don't know if you knew this, but he did the some commercials.
What?
Yeah, he did commercials for not eHarmony, E-Trade. E-Trade.
He did?
Yeah, he's the voice for that commercial. So he did that for a while, and then
I never noticed. Huh. Shit, I should get on
the character in the show, the character opposite of him in the show, Pam, who plays his love interest. She's actually has a new show right now called Together.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for that.
Which is a really good show. I haven't watched it myself, but she's doing that, and it's actually doing pretty well. Dwight Schrute, who is also a lovable character, he has his own show on YouTube right now where he interviews people in his awesome like Scooby-Doo van. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, it's great. Oh fuck!
What's it called?
I should have looked it up. But he has that going on. There's, Steve Carell. He's done a shit ton of stuff since then. There's people like Ed Helms who did the Hangover movies. He's the main character in the Hangover movies.
I do like their little ploy to not write him off, but like give him an excuse for not being there while they filmed the Hangover movies. Like he was on an island and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that was the reason why they ran into the timing of them filming. So they told him like he was shipped out. Oh shit! Spoilers.
Don't you fucking bitch.
Son of a bitch! I can't watch it anymore.
So, who else was on there?
Who else is doing something?
There's another character, Daryl. He works for the warehouse. He is producing and starring a couple episodes on TV, different TV shows.
Well, he's in a band for that Netflix special with Seth Rogen.
Right, yeah.
Hilarity for Charity.
Yeah, and it literally there's like maybe 10 or 12 people on this show, The Office. Again, if you haven't watched it, who now are still like they do their own shit right now, and they're pretty good at it.
And they are. You saw that video I tagged you with Oscar?
Yeah.
With the bowling, he's a pro bowler.
For those of you that don't know, there's a character on the show called Oscar, and he's in the show he's portrayed as in the closet gay, comes out gay, and it's fucking hilarious between him and Steve Carell. the scenes that they get into. But the video he's talking about, there's Oscar. His real name is Oscar. The actor's real name is Oscar. And he's a professional bowling player. And the video he's talking about, he bowls, he hits a strike, and I guess he just feels like such a fucking boss that he just poses like Burt Reynolds style.
Just like, on the floor, just like
floor,
I didn't do that, did I? Oh.
It's great.
The best. Oh my god. Made me almost want to go bowling, which I think I'm going to go do Tuesday, actually. So, we'll see how that works.
Thanks for the invite. So there was I was seeing all that stuff, but once I saw John Krasinski with his movie The Quiet Place and it actually doing really well, God, it just killed all my dreams of an Office spinoff. Or a sequel or something. Because listen.
No.
He's if you as a director, I think once you get like a win, you're just gonna keep going. Like you're not gonna divert from that. I think so.
No.
Why do you think that?
I don't think so.
Why?
I don't know. I just I fucking know the guy personally. I don't know him personally.
Don't just say like why. Fucking
elaborate.
That's the point.
Well, shit. I don't fucking like I said. I don't know him on a personal level. How I see it is that like I just don't get that vibe off of like he'll. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he does and he goes for another movie, I congratulate him. But I honestly feel like he's he looks like I get that vibe. I mean, on acting and interviews with him and stuff like that, I get it that he has just a sense of, no, I did really good. It's like nothing's stopping me from doing another one. It's just like maybe he doesn't want to do that. And I mean, he did have good rapport with the cast members of the Office, and I think everyone else did. Everyone didn't have any issues. I mean, from what I've seen on interviews and them just making it and bloopers. I mean, bloopers are always funny, but just the chemistry throughout the whole entire cast. I feel like there probably was some bad blood in there, but I feel like there wasn't something there that's gonna stop them from making a remake or doing that secret reboot. Yeah. Which, in my opinion, I would fucking love. But you know what's getting rebooted though? Good Eats.
Never heard of it.
I hate you so fucking much right now.
Good Eats?
You've never watched it?
No, what is it?
That's literally the show that taught me how to cook.
You're a terrible cook. I hope you know that.
Whatever. But it taught me how to cook and bake and shit. It was just like
bacon.
No, we don't need bacon. Anyway, it was just like I saw that and I'm like, that's pretty cool. But there's like a lot of shows that are getting rebooted right now.
Not a fan of it. But yeah, it's like I was saying, we were talking about it. TV shows and shows in general are big part of me and this guy's friendship, and it's I'd recommend watching if you haven't. It's cool to have in the background too, or just to kill like an episode a day. It's believe me, trust me, you'll love it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's a little slow in the beginning, but you'll get it. It's okay. It picks up.
Yeah, it'll pick up. Another thing I wanted to.
And if you say it's not, fight me. I'll send you my address, and we'll fight.
Do you hear that?
It's a challenge.
That's everybody running away.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what?
Do you hear their footsteps?
I don't hear footsteps. I hear voices in my head. What?
Buddy, are you okay?
No. Anyway. What else are we talking about? So
the other thing I wanted to talk about too, and this is gonna seem like a weird jump from what we were just talking about, but the other day I was what was it, like Monday I think, and I was just thinking to myself, I was just driving home and it's fucking traffic, so I got really nothing else to do. I'm just thinking off into the distance. And I thought about myself, it's like, God damn, I'm 23. And it just, probably everybody has their own version of this moment, but I just like looked at that, and then I sort of just, it occurred to me about something that a coworker of mine was talking about. Her name's Dorothy. She's an elderly woman, and she was just talking about like how at my age, at 23, she was like out of like college or some shit already, buying a house and stuff, and I'm like, okay, different times, fuck you. But then she started, telling me about a really interesting point that she made was when she started talking about debt back in her time. Now keep in mind, this lady, she's about 80 something years old. So 60 years ago, we're talking about, it was probably in the late 50s, early 60s.
Back when everything was a nickel.
When she was on
a quarter. I'm sorry, a quarter. Inflation.
No. Listen. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about, those were the days. What I'm saying is, she explained how debt worked for them back in the day.
I've always wondered that.
Essentially, the way she explained it, I'll explain it the way it was explained to me. The way she explained her debt back in that time, for her, when she got out of school, essentially back in the day, you didn't really need, like you do now, you need, a credit history and stuff like, all this stuff that could literally drag you down. You could have, a decent paying job. You could have the means to pay rent, for example. But if they ask for that credit score, and if you don't have a in the green credit score, your ass is getting rejected. And then she explained it to me as like, well, obviously, they still had credit scores back then. But not a lot of people liked using credit because, they learned from the Great Depression, like, fuck credit, right?
Yeah.
So the way that they did it was more of like an honor system. Pay for what you could pay, essentially. And if you couldn't, you would work something out with the landlord or, whoever was the supervisor of the building or something like that. And then you would just work it out with them. It's like, hey, for example, like, if I'm just out of college, this is how she said it. She was out of college. She said she wouldn't find a job for a while. So, she explained it to her landlord, and he gave her like a month essentially to move in for free. Now, granted, this could have just been a move. And I thought about that, but then I thought about what she said. She said, no, it was her and then her brother, I think, one of her relatives, and it was a dude. And they both went to this guy, and they essentially just said, hey, we're both looking for jobs right now. We're just out of college. This guy, he actually let them stay that first, I guess it was like a month or first couple of weeks, no rent until the first time they actually got paid, which I thought was fucking insane. Because I thought maybe he just got, you got lucky. But then she explained it to me. He's like, no, that was actually pretty normal. I had friends who, same thing. And she lived around here, like within, like 15 minutes away from here.
Shit.
And it was back in the day, and it was sort of like an honor system. So the reason the whole debt thing kind of rung to me was because, and what I wanted to sort of form it in a question to you was...
Is this where you bring the Patreon in so they can give you
No,
money?
you idiot. It's essentially what I'm trying to say is, do you think, and I, probably it's a obvious answer, but how do you think that stunts the growth of young Americans like us, dude? I mean, obviously it weighs, because, there's things like people living with their parents much, much longer.
Yeah.
There's things of...
I came across dudes that are 40 years old that are still with their parents.
Jesus Christ, I hope it never gets that bad.
That sort of scares me.
That's terrible, dude.
That terrifies. I think that's the one thing that terrifies the shit out of me.
Jesus.
At least, I don't know. Maybe this is just because my parents they want to retire and they want to go have their own place down in Mexico. Because lately they've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of houses in Mexico.
Right.
And they're like, wow, you can get that instead of a new van. I'm like, oh yeah.
It's not that nice.
Well, anyway, but at least with my parents, they're like, we still want the house. We still have the house, and if we do move, it's your guys', but you guys have to pay just what there's left and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, it's reasonable.
Right. But I mean...
But, like, I get what you mean, stunting growth, and I honestly believe the whole credit system, I mean, I have credit cards. I was opposed to them because it just doesn't feel right, because it doesn't feel like my money at all, which it isn't.
At all.
It isn't my money at all. And it just gives me a false sense of wealth, in my opinion.
You think?
I think so. It makes me think, oh, I still have $6,000 on this card. I still have $10,000 on this card. I can skim by, or if there wasn't, knock on wood, there was a accident, I could fix it, so I can live, sort of out of my means. And in all honesty, that's what I think this whole country is sort of lacking. Mm-hmm. Its understanding of what your means are. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's me being hypocritical, because there's a couple of things in this room that makes you think, you don't really need all those, do you? Mm-hmm. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
The giant amount of...
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just staring at them right there.
All that cocaine on the table.
Yes, a ton of it. Oh my gosh.
God, bricks.
DEA, if you're listening, I have none of that here. I don't have that kind of money. They're out in a van right now. Flower van. Juan's Flowers. But no, and that's what I think. A lot of people don't know how to live within their means, and they buy and they do this, and they try to show their wealth. So and I've been guilty of that, and I can tell you that it does put me back, because I've bought some of the things that I have bought make me think, shit, I could have done something different with this. Shit, I could have.
You always think.
Of course, you always do. But the fact that you shouldn't have that mind, or you shouldn't have that thought so often.
You mean you shouldn't regret it so often?
Yes, you shouldn't regret it so often.
Okay. But I think that says more about you than
I guess.
the system.
I guess, but you think about it this way. There's people out there that are
what I'm asking is not you personally. What I'm saying, as far as the system itself, mm-hmm. Do you think it's that way on purpose?
Yes. Yeah, it's a way to keep you under their thumb.
Who's they?
Credit card companies, the banks.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, you brought me down this fucking hole now.
Okay, I'm taking you out of it real quick. But no, okay, so yes, systematically, it's meant to put a lot of people down, dude. But I think it...
But it's also meant to put a lot of people up and
that's
pursue their dreams.
And that's how some people go to fucking school. Nobody's got $100,000 out of their ass and live in middle class.
If you do, call us up.
Yeah, you're not middle class at that point.
I'll reach in your ass for $100,000. What?
Announcement. He will reach in your ass.
In your ass.
In your arse. It's good and it's bad, just, and that's obvious. And, like I said, I just want to know if it was systematic. It is systematic, but is it done on purpose to keep, people are aged down, because
it's a business.
I mean, it's a business, yes, but that's on a much grander scale. I'm talking about, right here, you and me. Mm-hmm. I know people, and I guess I could be included myself as well, mm-hmm. where to some people having $40,000 in debt is crippling to them. Mm-hmm. They'll live in poverty essentially mm-hmm. with that. And then there's other people who have $40,000 in debt who still live an okay life. It's nothing glamorous. They're not fucking on the street or anything, but they're coasting by. So. And again, going back to what I was asking is, so systematically, is it meant to keep, and what I mean by you and me, not us young, not us young, two young guys, mm-hmm. is it meant to keep us in as far as a social class down? That's what I mean.
That still leads me to my rabbit holes.
Okay, so you have your theories, but...
Yeah, no, and it does. I mean... it's supposed to keep people into a certain spectrum. It's supposed to keep them in a certain mindset. It's supposed to keep people to a certain way of thinking. My jug's a fucking...
Sorry.
It's fine. It's empty. Whatever. But it's supposed to keep you thinking, oh, I gotta pay this, I gotta do this, or I gotta do this now. It's... I mean, that's my whole thing on humans shouldn't live in cities and stuff like that. I feel like, I mean, not us being out in the fucking wild, you know, off the grid and whatnot, but I mean...
you're getting too deep in your conspiracy theories.
No, it's not. I'm just saying, it's just the way of living I believe humans should live.
You don't believe them in fucking bunching up together. I see what you
mean. Yeah, and that's what I feel like it is. It's just bunching us all up together.
I understand. So the way I think about it is it's more of a...
No one cares what you think.
It's more...
You asked me. Only I care about what I think. Fuck.
Well, that's why I waited for you to go first so you could get all the stupid points out of it. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
Oh, so mean.
I'm just kidding.
Whatever, go ahead.
I'm just kidding, buddy. It's essentially... I put it more in a sense of it being classism. Mm-hmm. And classism is a new thing to me that was only brought to light to me, you know, recently. Mm-hmm. In the last couple of years, and you know, you start to see this stuff probably as clear as, like, you know, some people, you know, you see like racism and stuff like that, but you just never saw it.
Well, I didn't see racism for a while.
I mean, me either, but I'm saying in terms of this, it's like how could you have not seen it, is what I tell myself, right?
Yeah.
And it just got me thinking, like, back in the car where I was, and you know, Dorothy, my coworker, just telling me these things about, you know, in her time, it was more of a system to help people than it was
to cripple, or not cripple,
not cripple them, but essentially
keep them in their place,
string them along. But I think us as, you know, individually as a people, you know, that's our own responsibility to put ourselves in that kind of hole, because you know, some people are desperate, some people, you know, need that kind of help, and others just are fucking stupid. Like they said, they got fucking eyes bigger than their goddamn wallets, which is annoying. And like you said, living within your means, I think in some people's mentality, dude, it's just the kind of thing where they have to have that kind of edge. Otherwise, they just, like, get subdued by some, I don't know, they maybe think, like, life is very mundane. Like, you need that kind of edge. Some people do it, you know, with drinking or partying or, you know, drugs. Some people do it with fucking just speeding up on a highway. Some people, you know, it's that weird kind of rush, but I think it's subconscious. Like, some people don't even know that they're doing it. And man, it just got me thinking about, like, depth for me personally. You know, I'm not too sure about you as far as depth, but me personally, as far as depth goes, I only have partly of a house and a car that I'm responsible as far as depth goes, which isn't bad. I mean, you know, that's to live, I guess. Yeah. But it just makes me want to not pay it and I mean, like, I got a new car 2 years ago. Looking back on it now, I really wish I would have bought something that I could have just, like, paid in a year. I don't like being roped down for multiple years. I mean, on a house, you kind of have to, you know,
yeah.
Unless you have, you know, a couple $100,000 again to drop on a house. But
I'm here to pay cash on the house.
But that's different. I mean, it's just, I look at what you pay, you know, I look at what I use monthly for stuff I gotta pay. And don't get me wrong, I love paying bills. Like, that's my shit. For some reason, that's, like,
get a high off of it.
It's weird.
Yes.
I love it. I love paying bills. It doesn't give me anxiety. In fact, it actually puts me in a mentality of, like, hustling. Like, it's gotta get done. And then once it gets paid, it's just like, it's just that sigh of relief that, oh man, it's crazy. But yeah, no, I like
that mindset. I should change that. I should go towards that.
I was thinking that in my car, and just, like, you know, if I wanted to right now, you know, you could literally get rid of your debt. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not talking about just going off and, you know, paying it off and doing your shit. I'm talking if you hustle to pay off your debt. It's much more different when you go by the schedule in terms of paying off the debt of, like, I don't know, fucking 46 months on a car or whatever the fuck. But I'm talking about literally work towards paying down your debt. I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to see what happens in the next couple of months. But I just think it would be the most gratifying thing in the fucking world. And then I think at the end of that, and maybe you could, you know, relate to this because, you know, you've dropped your fair amount of money.
Yes.
But at the end of that, just having that freedom of, I don't know anybody's shit.
Yeah.
That's what I want to work for. That's what I thought of my car. It's like it just kind of like remotivated me just to be like, I just want to get there again. Like I don't want to owe anybody shit. But yeah, that was my whole thing. Since you brought the subject of it being warmer, spring is essentially like May is 2 weeks away. That's essentially,
May.
And then after that, it's gonna be summer.
Spring already started supposedly, right?
Okay, point being, it's essentially here. Summer's here, and I kind of wanted to know if, since you're gonna be abandoning me,
not yet.
What do you want to do this summer, Johnson? And I'm not talking about like if you could do anything. I mean realistically, realistically, this summer 18. What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Damn, hit you with the tough question.
No, not really. I mean, I want to go somewhere. I want to travel somewhere, but I mean, travel somewhere that I don't know. No.
I mean, put it this way.
Okay.
Put it much more clear for you right now. Let's put a date on it.
Okay.
All right. June 1st.
All right.
Whatever day June 1st falls on.
Okay.
June 1st. It's perfect day, and it's pretty much forecast to be for like the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. What are you gonna do?
Oh, it's a perfect day around here. Shit.
Like just all around, like there's just not gonna be a shitty day like we've known for the last couple of months. It's gonna be weather-wise, it's gonna be good everywhere, pretty decent. Come summer, first thing that comes to mind, what are you gonna do?
I'd go to an outdoor barbecue place.
Decent.
And eat the shit out of a bunch of stuff.
Ass?
Not pig ass.
Oh, okay, never mind.
We're still talking about barbecue.
Right.
God damn it. That's... Well, in all honesty, it sounds weird, but like I think right now what I do want to do, like I told you before we started this, we were talking a little bit about it. I want to maybe start getting back into the cooking and baking sort of thing.
For sure.
Because as of late, I don't know, something's been off with me, I feel, and that's the one thing that I even if that was a little experiment upstairs that I made or whatever, it just felt good to do something like that again, and it felt nice.
Yeah. Also, for those of you that don't know, he's saying baking and cooking. This man is a brick wall, essentially, in stature. So for him to say this is kind of funny. If you can imagine that, it's just a funny image. I thought I'd share that image.
I'm like that fat Italian chef that you have, that statue.
You're not fat, you're swole.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that's the one thing that I want to probably do this summer, is because I have a cookbook over there.
Get back in that groove.
Yeah. And
dude, take up a class or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. And I mean, like, shit, if it goes well, I mean, my experiments that I'm having, I have some stuff down here too going. Mm-hmm. But if that goes well, maybe go somewhere, go something else with that.
Yeah,
but
you'll be able to move that Coke, no problem.
No, yeah. Make my own Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I got you cooking. Wink. I got you. I got you.
Breaking Bad reference.
Okay, so all right, so you want to sort of get back into a hobby.
Yeah, something to a hobby. I mean, it's just a hobby that was always interesting, always fascinating to me. It's a way for me to, because I always like sort of taking care of people. That.
Always taking care of me.
Gay.
With food. God,
yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's kind of gay.
Butt sex. What?
What the fuck? Don't put that out into the universe.
It's in there now.
No. If anybody's listening, disproving.
But
right now.
That's a hobby that I want to do. I mean, perfect day. I would want to be outside with probably, a couple of friends and stuff like that, or have family over and me cooking for them and doing something, put something together.
You know what I'm starting to realize as we're getting older too? I think I focus so much on like the external in terms of like, I guess like career, working, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Building on the external. I haven't been focusing too much on the internal.
Yeah.
So I think the big part of that is how you feel is your relationships with people. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm there with you, sort of, refocusing on like family and friends.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's starting to become very clear the more and more time passes, the older you get, how just valuable those connections are.
That's another thing I want to do, because I mean, yeah, me with working and doing all these weird little things and stuff like that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I was going into the full family and friends thing. It's just...
It's not even the kind of thing of like, reconnect with friends I haven't seen. It's not even like that because you and me, both know we have friends who we don't have to see on a daily basis. Yeah. We could see, some of our closest friends once every like 6 months, and it'll be fucking awesome.
Yeah, like nothing ever changed.
It'll be great. And you have relationships sometimes where you feel like you want to see them more often, not because you like them more or anything like that. It's just that's just the way the relationship is. But what I was saying is more not reconnecting or anything like that. I'm just trying to strengthen the connections more on that end, because man, it's been a crazy year, dude. Like this time, like I mentioned last episode, this time last year, I just all of a sudden wanted to go travel somewhere. Fucking got my ass into OT mode, and in a month I was able to save up money from a side hustle to go to Rome with a close friend of mine, and that was fucking amazing. It's still surreal to me right now, and I kind of want to do that again this summer, but this time I kind of want to do it a more inclusive kind of experience. Inclusive meaning maybe instead of doing it just for me, I kind of just want to do it for as a group, as a friend. Whoever is able to do it, let's do it and do it that way. But yeah, I mean, summer plans are just fun to talk about. I thought
I booked that trip to Vegas right now. Don't tease me with it. I mean, I got nothing else going on tomorrow.
We'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, so here's the thing. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about. So you saw the Kanye tweets, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So and for those of you that don't know, essentially our Lord and Savior Jesus, he went on a Twitter rant, as he usually does, and not even a rant, more of he was doing a self-publication of his future documentary of himself, and just started going off on shit. And one of the main points I guess people took away from some of these tweets were essentially I think Kanye West might be a Republican, which is not vindictive of how we judge people, but and nor is it surprising at all. But it's funny in the way people are barely discovering it right now. They're like, what? How can I don't? Because most of the reason people came to this conclusion was because he's just started saying a bunch of stuff, as Kanye does, about Trump. And I gotta read some of this shit. Hold on, I gotta read it. There's this one tweet. Here we go. This is the one. All right, so I'm quoting here off of Kanye West's Twitter. You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. Sorry for my alarm. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. All right, keeps going. Hold on. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, which is true. He kind of started off pretty rough. Kind of made it rounded about a little bit with that. That's what makes us individuals. No shit. And we have the right to independent thought. Which, okay, so he rounded himself out with actually something logical, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't be logical and use the phrase dragon energy in the same fucking phrase. To which the president decided to respond, "Thank you, Kanye. Very cool."
Damn. He's hip. He's with it.
And then it's hilarious because later on in the day, I guess he was getting so much heat for it. He then tweets the following next. He says, "My wife just called me and she wanted me to make this clear to everyone. I don't agree with everything Trump does." To which contradicts what he just said.
Yeah.
I don't agree 100% with anyone but myself. When he just stated with himself, I don't agree with what everyone does, right? But it's just a giant contradiction. It's funny. And then Kim being I guess the logical one in the relationship, which says a lot. She says, I quote, "Kanye will never run in the race of popular opinion, and we know that, and that's why I love him and respect him. And in a few years, when someone else says the exact same thing, but they aren't labeled the way he is, and you will all praise him. Kanye is years ahead of his time." Which just sounds like she's being the hype man at like one of her shows. But I want to ask you about that because we finally gotten to the point where there is no longer the Kanye that you and me love. It is Kanye the artist and Kanye the person. Because now I'm thinking, and I'm like, damn, do I fuck with Kanye as a person? And I came to the conclusion that I'm not. I am not. I love
Yeah.
Kanye as an artist for
Yes.
what he's done, all that stuff, especially musically.
As a person who he is.
But as a person, I just no.
Mm-mm.
And it's not the kind of thing where it's like, man, you just don't understand him, and you just gotta label him crazy.
Well,
I think
there's people that are going to be listening to this like, you don't understand him.
I think he's a musical genius, to be honest.
Yes, I can't disagree with that.
Nobody can deny that he is a musical genius. But as a person, goddamn,
Motherfuckers.
I mean, I don't even think I could even
Shit.
let shit slide under the radar now. And you brought up an excellent point. What was it you saying? You're saying, I mean, he only gets like this. He'll stay quiet, but he only says shit when he's got some shit coming out.
He has his album with Kid Cudi coming out. Or he produced it, or no? He produced it.
He's producing 5 albums.
Yeah, he's doing his with Cudi. I forgot the other artist.
He's gonna release the Tiana Taylor.
Yes, Tiana Taylor.
Music, Pusha T. He's gonna produce a Nas album.
Yes,
which is
I'm excited for that too.
And then his album.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna drop 5 projects, which would be the most badass Kanye thing you could do. All in
the span of 2 months, like around 2 months.
No, in a month.
It's a month.
June.
Oh shit.
2 weeks. We can expect that first project to drop.
Ooh.
That's insane.
Yeah, like I said, he's just quiet during all these other times, but then once it comes time to sell an album, he'll come out, say some weird shit, and people will start talking about it. And even people, the Kanye lovers that like adore him for his artistry and his personality, they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's the greatest," whatever, blah blah, and they'll just talk about him.
But saying you'll just make the argument, people can just make the argument that we don't love Kanye for being Kanye, we love Kanye for being the artist, the musical genius, which I could fuck with.
Yeah.
I know that. Like, it's like, why do you fuck with Kanye? He's such a fucking maniac, or blah blah blah. It's like, I fuck with Kanye because he knows his shit as far as music goes.
But when it comes down to politics and all this other shit,
but when it comes to people stuff, it's just like he is on another wavelength. Whether time will tell if he was ahead of his time, like his wife said, or whatever. But I think it's more on the side of like, what the.
He's that guy at the party that's like woke. That will not just shut up and like, you don't understand, blah blah blah.
But here's the thing, you don't. It's not being woke. It's just.
What is it?
He's just on his own shit. So it's like he's in his own thing about like just how you were just about to go down the rabbit hole on your conspiracy theories. It's just that's just his shit. You can't really like I can't knock Kanye for that because everybody is like of free thinking mind. And I mean it's not like I'm a fan of his because he's such a great thinker. I'm a fan of him because he makes great fucking music, and probably I'll continue still listening to Kanye until. Shit, I don't even know what Kanye could do at this point to make me be like, nah, I can't fuck with Kanye. As far as music goes, at least.
I don't know. I think he's gonna try to find that
edge.
That edge of where it's like, whoa, okay,
the line.
We're done, Kanye.
The line.
Sorry, yeah, I think he's going towards a line. In all honesty,
I don't know what to think about it, but yeah, no, it's. I just wanted to sort of touch on that a little bit and sort of get your point on
but
that.
I love people calling him Uncle Tom, though.
Oh, I didn't see that, but that's true. God. That's fucking hilarious.
There was a meme with Jay-Z and Blue Ivy, and they're sitting down. He's like, Daddy, what do we call Uncle Kanye now? People are calling him something different. You call him Uncle Tom.
Jesus.
He's like, really? He's like, now eat your eggs.
Where do you see these memes? Jesus.
Facebook. I love those memes.
Oh man,
sweet dank memes.
But yeah, that just seemed crazy to me,
And it's just funny. People are like, oh my God, he's Republican. I'm like, yeah, black men can be Republican.
No shit. And then somebody, and you know who said it? Sci-Hi the Prince, who's also a good music, great rapper, fucking amazing lyricist. Sci-Hi the Prince, he. Tried to, defend his boy. He's like, y'all know Martin Luther King was a Republican, right? And that's just so, like that just, it bugs me. Like, there's a lot of shit that people aren't aware of. So just to tell them...
Martin Luther King had orgies, too, but,
Yeah, I mean, it's...
With JFK.
it's all these kinds of things, and that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. You can look it up. He actually did participate in, we'll say, get-togethers with one of the most powerful men on the planet,
JFK.
When he was alive. But yeah, so I think, what are we at now? We're at, almost an hour.
Yeah.
We wanted to pretty much leave off again, same as we did last time. Sort of leave it an open-ended question for you guys. And probably this week.
Sit on.
This week. This week we probably want to do more of a.
I like my voice right here.
Not a deep think. Shut up.
Oh
my God! Stop. Wanted to do more of not an open-ended question, but more of a yes or no. One being, I mean, if you have anything to say about the topics we talked about, let us know. But the other being, for us on our show, what we're doing right now is sort of getting into the groove of things, and we're sort of getting the format together. Baby steps, but we're getting there. And we wanted to sort of work it more towards, do you guys prefer hearing maybe somebody come in who's, not of the same mind as me and Capitan over here, and sort of have a discussion, or, keep going with what we're doing back and forth, sort of just trying to go on the topics of the day. What do you guys want to hear?
Ask us stuff, like on the post that we put up on the media in the comment section on YouTube as well. We noticed that some people do comment. I mean, it helps out if you do put a comment in there, and that's fine with me too.
Yeah, tell us what you think about the Avengers, because it comes out tonight. And just drop all your shit. Ask us questions. And what was that email one more time, Jonesy? Can you let them know what email they could go to send us questions?
Dame un segundo, por favor.
But in the meantime, go follow us on Twitter, Oceans2, number 2, podcast, Twitter handle, and then the Instagram, Oceans2, that's DOS. And then follow us on Stitcher, and also subscribe to us. Drop us a review or a comment on the favorite podcast directory of yours. iTunes is what we usually use, but stuff like Overview, Stitcher, Spreaker, all that stuff. Drop us some feedback.
Yeah.
Love to hear what we could do better, what we're not doing good. You could just fight with us just to fight with us.
I'll send you my address. So fucking throw down. I don't care.
Let's do it. Throw hands.
Throw hands. Catch them. But the email that you guys can email us at is direct email to us, where we'll be able to respond to it, or anything you want to bring up. Because I mean, that's the one thing I'd like that, where you ask us a question and see what our opinions are, what our thoughts are on those things. Well, opinions and thoughts are the same thing. It's Oceans2, the number 2 podcast at gmail.com.
All right,
so guys. You guys know.
Well, there you go. We'll see you next week. We're gonna try and get some shit done. Probably nothing. But let us know. We'll catch you probably next week as well. Hopefully with some newer shit to talk about. And you stay sexy.
See you guys.
Peace.